Hey, we were talking about canvases shortly. I noticed on your website, if you enlist now for the new album, you get a canvas with a picture of you, and you can make your own art around it. And you'll, it's a contest, and you'll pick like 10 people with the greatest art.
That's right.
That's still running, right?
That's still running, from what I know. Yeah.
Wow. It
Yeah.
must be difficult to get in like a shitload of paintings and.
It's awesome. Like the idea is to make people. You know, I guess that's a judgment call. You know, I don't know. I don't know what is good artwork. You know, that's I guess eye of the beholder. You know, in this case, I'm the beholder. But you know, it's quite interesting because you get people to create. You get people to be creative. You know, and not just say, okay, 10th caller that calls. How creative is being the 10th caller on a fucking phone? You know, but let people do something with their time, and if they want to, it's all selective and voluntary, obviously. But a lot of people have been enjoying that, so that's cool. System of a Down has been on indefinite hiatus since 2006. The possibility is always there for us to do something together. If and when we decide to do something, it'll be on the band's website, www, you know what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a standard answer. You know what I mean, right? It's not going to happen for a long time, of course.
You know, you never know.
So you're giving me hope here.
I'm giving you love.
Well, I want to give it right back, man.
Thanks, brother.
You did an EPK where you interviewed yourself.
Oh man, that was.
Why was that? Why was that?
That was. I don't know.
You get, of
know.
course, the same questions all the time, probably. So that's why you did it, right?
Well, no, it wasn't just about. Here's what it was. They wanted me to make an electronic press kit. That's what an EPK is. And you know, after being an artist for 15 years, making an electronic press kit and explaining what you're doing and how you're doing it, to me was a bit ridiculous. So I decided, well, what is it about this record that's really interesting? And I thought, I'm making a rock record without a rock band. So I'm the rock band. I'm also the label. I'm also, you know, so I'm like, why don't, you know, it was actually at the time my manager's idea, which was a genius idea. And I said, okay. And at first I thought, look, I don't act. I don't know how to do this. But then I realized I know each of these characters so well from the industry, being in the industry for so long, that I naturally just switched to each of them. And, you know, so the EPK has gotten really a lot of hits. And over the years, it's funny. Yeah.
But also, man, when you're playing a producer, I had to think like, is this an impersonation of Rick Rubin? And how important was Rick Rubin actually to your sound and what you learned?
No, none of the impersonations of the EPK are actual people. They're just kind of dramatic, creations of stuff. But speaking of Rick Rubin, I think he was very important with System of a Down. You know, he's a good friend still. Like when I finish the record, before I mix it, I always go play it to him, even though, you know, he's not involved as a label or anything. But he's a good friend with amazing taste and amazing ears, and I respect his opinions. And when I played him Imperfect Harmonies, he really enjoyed it and gave some amazing advice and feedback. So that was really great. And he's been a part of, you know, our career, my career, for a long time. And so much respect and love.
Hey, when is the album out? Definitely?
September 20th or 21st. One of those, 21st.
There's still nothing on the web. Are you afraid it's going to leak, actually?
Eventually it's going to leak anyway, you know. As soon as it hits retail stores, someone picks it off before it's even sold and posts it up. Do I care? Yeah, yes and no, you know. I mean, it's best to keep it as unleaked as possible so that there's an excitement over the release, you know, then it's focused on a time period. You know, there's so many stories having to do with piracy, back and forth. In some ways it's good, but in other ways it's bad, you know. The two worst things about piracy are the following. Number one, unfinished materials leaking is unfair to the artist because they haven't finished it. They haven't put their final stamp of approval, but it's got their name on it. That's not fair. Two, the worst thing to me about piracy is it's causing labels, because they're making less money, they're actually investing less money in new acts. They want to sign the next Hannah Montana, they want to sign safe bets, so they spend all their money on the safe bets and no like risk on new creative awesome rock bands or any type of bands, you know.
Do you really notice that? I mean, are there less bands?
I've noticed that a lot, especially recently. So that's one of the after effects of piracy that's really affecting our industry. It's killing the middle ground. It's, you know, so it's either totally indie do-it-yourself from your house, or, you know, all this big production, safe kind of shit that has been done before.
Yeah, because on the other hand, I mean, the digital revolution, when I talk to bands, like 80% of them record their stuff at home. They have a Guitar Hero or whatever they have, guitar band from Apple. And
I mean, on the positive end, not having to do with piracy, but on the digital side, because there's so many profile pages and ability of artists to create as well as get out their own music, it's awesome. That part of it is fucking amazing.
Hey, when will you be back?
Not sure. Probably next year sometime. Let the record come out, and we haven't planned any tours next year, but we'll probably do some more next year for the record. So
How will you play it live? Do you have a big band or?
right now, this was a very special show. Obviously, full orchestra and band. Most of the other shows is full band and 8-piece classical section from each city, 4 violins, 2 cellos, and 2 French horns. So it's a nice mix, you know, on stage. So you get to do heavy songs with the band, combine them for new epic songs, and then break it down to just them with an acoustic guitar for some beautiful symphonic songs. It's a nice transition.
When I was listening to the music in a hall, the acoustics are really bad. Still, the sound was fantastic, I must say.
Cool, good.
Are you playing or thinking about playing in like classical concert halls that we have so much in Europe?
We have. We played at the Crocus Hall in Moscow, 6,000 people. We played in Linz, Austria, at the Bruckner House with the Bruckner Orchestra, and they were amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
We played with the Czech National Symphony Orchestra in Berlin. I'm forgetting the venue, but it was a beautiful theater. And we played at the Archibaldi Theater in Milano with the Filarmonica Italiana Orchestra, and that was amazing. And Rome also, Roma, we played with them. So we've been playing at classical events.
You're branching out in a whole different era, man. It's like the whole, I mean, it's like venues that you never possibly thought of playing ever.
Yeah, and it sounds amazing. Like, you know, when you realize, and then when you come back to the festivals and rock halls with that bottom shaking and slapback delay and all this weird sound, you're like, oh man, I missed that, like crisp, clean.
Yeah. What do you do with the distortion? Because I mean, if you turn on a distortion, it's like probably all over the place in a classical concert hall, right?
We haven't done that at the classical concert hall yet, but because when we played with the orchestras, it was just all acoustic, piano, acoustic guitar, and full orchestra with vocals. But we could manage that as well.